This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Welcome to this week's episode of This Is a Place podcast. My name is Nate, and with me is a guy who once went to Disney World and said it was so cold that even Donald Duck was wearing pants. Brandon.
It's true, he was wearing pants.
Yeah. What company doesn't wear pants?
I think it gets a lot colder at California compared to Walt Disney World, though.
Gets colder?
Would it be more likely he'd wear pants in California before he wears pants in Walt Disney World?
It can get cold in Florida sometimes.
Really?
I've been there when it's not Disney World, but literally down the street when it's really rainy and cold.
It's really rainy there. But it's kind of, it doesn't snow at Disneyland, but it gets pretty chilly at night sometimes.
It can.
But I've never been there when it's been cold.
Gotcha.
Speaking of pants, today we're joined by a man who likes to send me pictures of himself wearing no pants. And he is our, what do you call it? Quality assurance. He does our quality assurance for our podcast. The man who, if I mess up something in editing, he'll be quick to let us know.
He's our fact checker.
Do you check our facts?
Sometimes, or I'll just call you out.
But yes, you do call me out anytime that we...
Gone messed up.
Yeah. If I mess up with the intro or the outro or something just sounds wrong, and you let me know, and we appreciate that. It's not a paid position, don't think it is. But you appreciate it.
I've been paid. You paid me in stickers.
That's true. I paid you in
3 stickers, I think. 2 or 3, so...
And I have a lot more. We haven't given a lot away, so if you want more, you know. But back to the pictures. You do send me disgusting pictures.
I sent you one.
No, you sent me multiple.
Oh, hockey jerseys?
Yeah.
Did that really bother you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. My name's Matt.
In case there was any question as to who.
I got this Indianapolis
Jones.
I got this Indianapolis Jones t-shirt. I text Brandon and I said, hey, I got a new t-shirt. You want to see it? And he's like, yeah. So it's a picture of me standing in front of the mirror wearing a shirt and no pants.
You were wearing something underneath.
You just tell yourself that to make you feel better.
Hold on. Could we take a time out real quick?
You want to see the
wants to see
No,
this
I don't
picture.
want to see the picture.
Yes, he does.
No. So my joke, I didn't tell either one of you about my joke, and it fits in perfectly to you not wearing pants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
What are the odds?
they're great.
Right now,
I mean, they worked out. They were ever in your favor.
as if it were meant to be.
Oh, man. Let me...
If only I had thought of that, so the tie-in would have even been better.
Yeah, you could have said, speaking of no pants.
Yeah. Matt's going to show us a picture, but we're not going to share it with our viewers because it's explicit.
Yeah.
Well, they can look
We
at
don't want to get fined by the...
They can look at it through the podcast.
The podcast FCC.
Yeah.
Man, I can't find it. I guess I'll look for...
I've got it.
Can't you just...
I can show
Can't you
the
just
one-
type in your search pantless?
Let's...
Well, that'll bring up the other pictures he sends me.
That's true.
Here's an example of it.
You look like a 12-year-old, but a pedophile at the same time.
So to the listeners, yes, I am wearing an Indiana Jones t-shirt and no pants. And I'm standing... It's like the stereotypical hold your phone in front of your face and take a picture in a mirror.
And make no expression.
So then Brandon sends me this picture of his brother, Josh, in his hockey jersey. And so I sent him this picture.
Let me see.
So
Oh, right.
I also take pictures of myself not wearing pants, wearing hockey jerseys.
It's a really weird thing you do.
It's a select... I have a few friends that are very entertained by these pictures.
Well, you look like the lady from Happy Gilmore. No breakfast?
You don't want no breakfast? So, yeah, and then I took that picture. We went to Legoland, and I got this perfect picture of my family. It is so good.
Because you're not in it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm not in
the
it.
only thing missing from
That was the only thing missing, and so I did some edits where I inserted myself like randomly, and yeah. So one of them is me just standing in the corner with no pants in a Raiders of the Lost Ark shirt. I enjoy sending Brandon and other friends those kinds of pictures.
Yeah, he enjoys it. So as we're talking about Indiana Jones, that movie's coming out soon. Are you excited for that one, Nate?
The last one was such a disappointment that I'm not going to have any expectations for this one.
I think you'll enjoy it then. I saw recently, they did the screening. Harrison Ford got a 5-minute standing ovation, which, I mean, it's Harrison Ford. You just give him one of those anyway.
Yeah, they weren't sure you heard it. Can you hear us?
But I don't know. I've heard, of course, CEO of the company, Walt Disney, is going to say it's great. But he said he'd seen it 5 times, or he'd see it a bunch of times because it was the best movie. And he said because of this, he thinks there needs to be expanding of the franchise, obviously, which won't include Indiana Jones or Harrison Ford, but
Chris Pratt.
Ooh,
Well, my guess is that the girl, his goddaughter, is that who it is? Have you seen the trailers yet?
a little bit.
So apparently he's going on the adventure with his goddaughter.
No, Sheila Booth.
No, he's gone. I wonder if they're gonna like make some like
I've heard there is something.
where like he just wakes up and it was a dream or something like that. They got to do something like that to make it like
Destroy that wasn't a real movie.
Yeah, but I wonder if they're passing the torch on to the girl, and then she's gonna be the new Indiana Jones.
Maybe that's why he said what
That's
he said.
kind of the way they're going with everything now. They're
James Bond. But it's kind of at that point where the people that originally were part of these movies, I mean, even with the newer Star Wars, Harrison Ford,
There you go.
those, they're passing the torch on to other.
well, yeah, because it's not.
They're not going to live forever,
Yeah.
so they can't keep making movies. I'm interested to see it. I'm excited.
Do you think he dies?
I don't know.
Why haven't you sent me a calendar invite for when we're going to see it?
Are we going to go see it in the opening?
When does it come out?
Pretty.
Well, you sent me the calendar invite for Little Mermaid. I don't know why you wouldn't send me it.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. You want to come with us to see Haunted Mansion? You're invited if you'd like to come to the midnight screening.
We've already talked about this, and we're dressing up, all 3 of us.
Oh yeah, you're already coming. Sorry.
Oh.
And
We
like,
didn't
now,
know it, but you're coming.
What character am I gonna be?
Gus.
Gus. Who's Gus?
you know, put myself on blast here. I don't even know the difference between the 3 of them.
I think Gus is.
Oh, we're gonna be the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's all ghosts, but the hitchhiking ghost, right?
I want to be the ghost host
You know
The
what?
noose around your
with the noose around my neck with an axe in my hand and show up to the movie theater.
and no pants.
Like,
No pants.
it's cosplay. Who puts on pants when they're going to hate themselves?
But today we're talking about Disney.
Disneyland, Florida, to be
Disneyland, Florida.
Walt Disney World.
So a couple years ago,
Yeah.
a while ago, January of 2021, we had a famous YouTuber, Provost Park Pass, and his wife, Chris and his wife, Amanda. They came on the podcast and they talked to us about the tie-ins between Disneyland and Utah, because there's quite a few.
Yeah.
And I like Disney. Matt kind of likes Disney. So he had the idea. Do you like Disney?
Who's that?
You're a casual fan.
You're casual.
You don't watch YouTube ride-through videos like we do, probably.
Do not.
Don't listen to theme park podcasts like we do.
I do not.
But you like Disney. And Matt had the idea. We did Disneyland. There's got to be some tie-ins to Walt Disney World too, right? Because Utah and Florida are so close.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. Apparently, there's a lot of tie-ins, and you've prepared a PowerPoint presentation you're going to show us
Yeah.
about all those different tie-ins.
Yeah. I think we should talk about really quick what kind of Disney fans we are, because it's getting to a point where we're embarrassed to be. We do not want to be Disney adults. Would you agree with that?
Right.
And so I have realized, and this is true, I love history specifically that has to do with Disney. So I don't care about going to the parks as much. I don't care about keeping up on all the new food items or the merchandise, but I love reading history books. I have a lot of Disney history books. So that's how I separate myself from the Disney adult.
See, the way I separate myself is I don't have any Disney merch. In fact, if I were to buy Disney merch and we're outside of the park, I'd be embarrassed.
Are you kidding me? What's on your refrigerator right now, Brandon?
No. Like, you see the people walking around with Mickey, it says Disneyland,
Oh, okay.
those types of things. I don't
Okay.
buy those things. If it's Haunted Mansion, yes, I will buy it. Because that's my...
We've got our Lego Haunted Mansion.
Did you
set.
buy a Lego Haunted Mansion set?
I don't think, did I?
You did, or that you canceled it?
You can't. You were going to.
You're
Yeah.
going to.
That was the last time we recorded together.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm kind of in the same boat. I do like the parks. If I could go to the park all the time, I would. I
Yeah.
love it. But for context, and maybe what separates me from a Disney adult, the most fun I had at Disneyland this last time around was walking around and just being in the Main Street area of Disneyland.
Exactly.
That was just, and I could have ridden the train all day, and I would have loved that.
It's like when we go
The
to
ambience.
when we go to Lagoon, and now that we're adults, like we really enjoy going to Pioneer Village and just walking around. That's how to Disneyland. I could go and not ride a single ride.
Yeah.
And just be so happy to be.
Just smell the smells,
Yep.
listen to the music, and this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have a work playlist of all the music that's played at all the Disney parks around the world.
But we don't care about popcorn buckets.
Nope.
We don't care about character meet and greets unless it's for our kids. That's so we're the Disney adults are.
Should we take time out?
Yeah.
What's a Disney adult?
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh.
Disney adults are the people that are like,
They own the park.
they do. They're losing their minds. They see Mickey and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Mickey!" And they're freaking
So it's
out,
basically
pushing kids out of the
an
way.
adult who's still a child when they go to Disney.
They think the park is made for them. There's now you go and there's like hardly any little kids. It's just all adults. Yeah, they think they own the park. They're gonna post all about it on their social media. There's like 5,000 of them that think they're gonna make YouTube channels on this. Yeah.
They're just they're the Karens of the Disney world.
Okay.
They know everything.
So we're not like them.
We're not like them.
We're better.
We have to just
We should make a YouTube channel that just makes fun of Disney.
Oh, they have those. I
They do?
thoroughly enjoy them.
Oh, shoot. Dang it. Too late to this.
We should make a channel making fun of the people that make fun of the Disney adults.
Yeah.
It's just an ongoing.
This last thing I'll say, and then we'll wrap this part up and move on. I went to Disneyland for my honeymoon in 2013.
Me too. No, 2013.
2013.
2004.
Yeah. It's a little different. I mean, I was like in fifth grade then, so. Anyway, when I got back home, one night I couldn't fall asleep, and so I wanted to look up Disney YouTube videos, and so I searched Disneyland, and one channel popped up, and that was Justin Scarred Random Land, and if there's only one channel I could watch for the rest of my life, it would be Justin Scarred. I think he's the perfect kind of Disney YouTuber. There's a few other that are really good, but Justin Scarred, because he's all about the history. And I feel like that's where we are.
Right.
We really enjoy the history of the park and the history of like how things were made, who made them.
What it was like
all,
opening day,
right.
back in the day. We like that kind of stuff.
all the stuff that used to be there that's not talked about anymore.
Yeah.
Aunt Jemima's pancakes,
The chicken place.
the chicken place that people have no idea that this existed.
The fact that Doritos were invented in Disneyland.
Bam.
Did you know that?
Doritos invented at Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. And sometimes I say Disneyland, Florida, just to see how people react.
But we've come to talk about Disneyland, Florida. Well, more commonly known as Disney World.
Walt Disney World. Come on, Brandon.
Why
Walt Disney World.
Why is Disneyland and then Disney World? Is because it's both in the United States? When you got
What?
because everywhere else it's called Disneyland, right? Disneyland.
Disneyland,
Disneyland Paris.
Paris.
Disney Sea.
Tokyo Disneyland, Shanghai Disneyland, But anyway, when Walt passed away, his brother Roy took over and decided instead of Disney World, he would name it after his brother. So then it was Walt Disney World. Because if Walt was still alive, he would not have named it after himself. It would have been Disney World. But then, so then he passed away and then Roy named it Walt Disney World.
But none of us have ever been.
I
Correct.
kind of have.
Yes.
I've been on the grounds. So I went, every year I was going to Orlando to play in a softball tournament, and I went with your coworker one year, and when we were there, he was single at the time, and he was on one of those dating apps and met a girl and hung out with her for the few days we were there. And then we went to the airport. She dropped us at the airport, which was nice, cheaper than an Uber.
That was an
We got bumped.
excellent decision.
We got bumped. So we were going to be there for like the whole night. Our next flight was until the next day. And I said, hey, we're stuck here in the Orlando airport, which is probably out of all the airports. It's not a bad one to get stuck in because they have like a mall inside of it. Why are you looking at me?
My stomach.
Oh,
Style.
it's true. They do have a mall.
They don't.
They have like a hotel in there.
They have a hotel. Yeah.
That's crazy.
They have a hotel. They have a mall. It's like, so if you're going to get stuck in the airport, that's a good way to get stuck in. But I said, why don't you call this girl and see if she'll come pick us up and hang out for the night and stuff like that. And maybe she'll drive us to a hotel. Anyways, so she did. And it was like early in the day, so we still had the whole day to kill. And she's like, oh, well, I used to work at Walt Disney World. You guys want to go take a tour of it? We're like, sure. So she took us over there and like snuck us in the employee parking lot, even though she wasn't. Anyways.
She didn't work there anymore.
Mm-mm. And then she took us over, like we took one of the rails somewhere. So we got to kind of see the parks, but we didn't actually go in them. And we went and saw the spot where the kid got eaten by the alligator. She took us there for some weird reason.
That's awful.
Excellent tourist decision.
Yeah, right. And then, and it was kind of cool. We were like, and then she went to like one of the like resort spots where like we're on the beach, and it was like a Polynesian type of
Polynesian resort.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. And they had like swings or something. So it was funny. And then later, I mean, it has nothing to do with the story. We said, hey, for dinner, let's go somewhere that's like unique to Orlando. Like something like, like here in Utah, you got like Cafe Rio or Arctic Circle. She takes us to like an Indian restaurant. We're like, what? Like, those are like,
We have these.
We have these in Utah. Yeah, it's like taking them to McDonald's. Anyways, so we kind of joked. And the next day, we took her to Cafe Rio, which is in Orlando. I'm like, so we took you to a Utah restaurant in Orlando, and you took us to it. Anyways, it was just weird.
Let's take you to a Cuban. I got Cuban food when I was in Florida, and I thought that was awesome. There's not much Cuban food here.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been on the grounds. I just haven't been on any rides at Disney World.
That's more than either you and I can say.
Yeah. All right. Shall we get started?
Oh,
Here's
we're not done?
here's what we're gonna do. So, going back to what this episode is about, things in Walt Disney World.
Whose podcast is this?
Things in Disney World that are tied to Utah. So, like you said earlier, there's things at Disneyland we did that are tied to Utah.
Right.
So, here's what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you things, and then we're going to decide which one's the biggest stretch at the end. Because I really had to stretch for some of these.
I'm going to start by saying all of them.
Wait, you made this list?
I made this list.
Okay.
He did the research.
So,
So what's the ties?
If you go Google like Utah stuff in Disneyland, you will get a list of things. Maybe not a ton.
Yeah, we talked about a couple episodes ago the hearse, right?
Right, the Brigham Young hearse. If you Google anything for Disney World, you're not going to get anything about Utah. So I had to, just with my own brain, had to put this list together.
Or did you use that chatbot, the AI?
No,
ChatGPT.
I did not. Okay, so we're going to start out in the Magic Kingdom. For those listeners that do not know, the Magic Kingdom is almost identical to Disneyland. Not quite, but very similar. It's the one with the castle on Main Street and all that.
The Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion. How could I forget? So we're going to start with Big Thunder Mountain. In California, Disneyland, Big Thunder Mountain is modeled after Bryce Canyon. But everybody knows, not everybody, sorry, I shouldn't say it. People that know,
This is the podcast.
the one in Florida is Monument Valley. but I'm still going to claim that. I mean, Utah is part of Monument Valley, right? So, and then recently I was sick, and I fell asleep in the tub as I usually do when I'm sick, and I had a Justin
It's like a
Scar.
dangerous habit.
I do it all the time. If I die from being in the tub, my wife did not drown me. And it wasn't a suicide either. I just fell asleep. So at Disney World, it's Monument Valley, but while I was sleeping in the tub, Justin Scard was playing in the background, and he was at not Monument Valley. He was at Disney World and talking about how beautiful the landscape is at Big Thunder Mountain, and how he loves touring like Utah and seeing the red rocks like that. So
There's a connection.
So that's not a big stretch so far. I think that's pretty good.
Well, you can't rank them as you're doing it. We get a suck tuck at the end.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we're staying in the Magic Kingdom. Carousel of Progress.
Okay.
Carousel of Progress is...
Yeah. I remember you telling me about this one.
Oh, yeah. It was originally an attraction made for a World's Fair, and then it went to Disneyland, and then eventually made its way to Florida. And what you do is you sit in a auditorium that spins around, and it shows the progress of technology and how America was, starting in the, I think, late 1800s, and then all the way up to the early 2000s is when it ends, I believe.
Does it kind of have a future thing?
Yeah, but it's like the future in 2005. Maybe not. That might be wrong. But anyway, Carousel of Progress. So there's two things. The TV in Carousel of Progress, at one point, they met, like I said, it's about like the technology and advancements. So the TV, which was invented by Philo Farnsworth.
Philo T. Farnsworth, if you may.
Philo T. Farnsworth.
From Rigby, Idaho?
From Utah.
I know, but he wasn't born in Rigby, Idaho, but he invented it here in Utah. Sorry. Andrew.
We had an episode on this, I don't remember.
I think that's what it is. He invented it like this. I've been in the room it was at Provo High.
Where it happened?
Yeah, it was like, at the time, it was like abandoned, the high school.
Uh-huh.
So it was very creepy and scary. Like,
Isn't it still abandoned?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they use it now or something.
It was invented there, and the TV's in the Carousel of Progress.
Yep. So I made that connection. They're showing off the new technology, and Philo T. Farnsworth.
Was it mentioned?
Is he mentioned?
No, I'm asking.
Oh, no. There's also a part where they show the advancements of video games. And
Atari.
Yeah. Nolan Bushnell.
Yeah, we need to do an episode. We need to get him on
Just reach out.
because he did Atari and Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Chuck E. Cheese. I think he was born in Utah, but did not live in Utah very long.
He was born here.
Yeah.
An area, I want to say.
Clearfield, maybe?
Clearfield.
Anyway,
That sounds right. That sounds right, actually.
those are ties to Utah right there.
There you go.
Okay. We're going back to Big Thunder because I forgot about this one. This is a good one. Okay, so Big Thunder's in Frontierland.
Okay.
And you mentioned earlier the music. There's always music playing. And it's instrumental music. And one of the songs that's playing is Cool Water, which I believe is a Hank Williams song. Marty Robbins covered that song, Cool Water. And on the same album that he... on the same album that he...
Tell me more.
I told you they're going to be stretches.
The layers keep going. The same album.
The same album that has cool.
Oh, boy.
The same album that has Cool Water has a song called Utah Carol.
Wait,
And Utah is not even referring to the state. It's referring to a person.
Okay.
is this like the 5 steps to Kevin Bacon?
I told you guys the stretch.
I'm impressed that you got to there.
With this was research.
You took...
Well, I have the Marty Robbins record.
Okay.
I love it. It's like old Western country music.
But still, taking that connection that he had the song, Hank Williams covered it.
No.
Oh,
Hank Williams had the song. Marty Robbins covered it, but on that same album, one of the hit songs was Utah Carol.
All right.
Wow.
So
I'm so excited to see what else is on this list.
that's Frontierland. And then before we leave, as we're exiting the Magic Kingdom or entering, you see the train station. So I have heard that the train station at Disneyland is based off of the Union train station at the Gateway.
Right.
They look very similar. The only difference is at Disneyland, it's not symmetrical. The building is not symmetrical. But Main Street USA was based on partly Marceline, Missouri, but not really. It's based on a city in Colorado, and I'm blanking on the name right now. But one of the guys that designed Main Street grew up in Colorado, had a Main Street. It was based on the
Colorado touches Utah.
Yeah. No, that's not where I'm going with that. But the train station in that city looks nothing like the train station at Disneyland. But our Union Pacific train station here, where they filmed the Dumb and Dumber Hooters scene, it looks identical. So we're going with that. So the train station, then in Florida, they made that same train station but made it symmetrical. So I'm going to say that train station is based on...
It's more like
the one downtown Salt Lake. So, yeah, that's not that big of a stretch. That's not too bad. Okay, we're leaving the Magic Kingdom. And
you have on this list.
we're visiting all 4 parks. Don't worry, I only have one for each of the other parks. We're going to Epcot. Again, Epcot is Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. And there is a ride at Epcot, Soaring Around the World, or Soarin', people just say. And it's a ride where you sit in a seat and it goes into a dome and you fly around the world. Iconic places around the world. You go over the Great Wall of China. You go over, why can't I think of the freaking mountain? Mount Everest, Taj Mahal. But one of the places is hot air balloons over Monument Valley. So there's another one with Monument Valley. And in that scene, there's a hidden Mickey with the hot air balloons. One's rising. There's like 2 by each other and one's rising. And at the perfect moment, they meet and then it transitions. So that's it for Epcot. We're going from Epcot. We're going to go over to the Animal Kingdom. What does Utah have to do with the Animal Kingdom?
Because we have Hobo Zoo.
No. I just thought of one as I said that, though. There is a dinosaur land in Animal Kingdom.
Dinosaurs. Lots of dinosaurs here.
Yeah, and there's a ride. Do you remember that Disney movie, Dinosaur?
I do.
Do you remember it?
I already know where you're going with that.
Yeah. So there's a ride called Dinosaur. So imagine you're at Disneyland and you ride one of the greatest rides ever, Indiana Jones. And you take that exact ride layout and system and you go send it to Florida, but instead of Indiana Jones, it's you go on a time machine back to dinosaurs to find a dinosaur, and then the world's about to be destroyed. So that's their version, but it's the exact same track and layout and system and everything. So in this ride, one of the dinosaurs you do encounter is a velociraptor. I'm just going to go ahead and say I was probably a Utah raptor because Utah raptors are the big raptors that most people associate raptors with. Besides that, velociraptors were small, but the big raptors are Utah raptors, and that's what you see in this ride. So, bam.
Utah.
Yeah.
Utah. Velociraptor. It's the Utah raptor in Dinosaur.
Yeah.
All right.
And you never fight a dinosaur. Because you get your ass kicked.
The sun's setting. We got to hurry over to Hollywood Studios. We go to the Chinese Theater. Is that what it's still called? Well,
I don't know.
We're going to say it is. And we have to go back to 2019 because there's a new ride in this building, the Chinese Theater. It's now Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway.
Was the great movie, right?
It was the great movie ride, which you would ride through scenes of different movies, great movies even. And one of those scenes you ride through, well, it's not a scene of a specific movie, but it is Clint Eastwood and John Wayne in the West. And we know of all those Western movies they did here in Utah. You've got the sun setting. You could see the mountains. You could see the desert. They're on their horses. And it's a beautiful scene. And that's Utah. So those are all the connections Utah has to Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know if there's anywhere that people could think of. But it's pretty good, don't you think?
So what's the biggest stretch?
Yeah, what's the biggest stretch?
That Walt Disney
Walt Disney once visited Utah.
Therefore,
Everything he based off
Everything.
for his rides. He was thinking, how can I make this like Utah? I'm going to say the song was the biggest stretch.
Utah Carol. Let me show you the album cover. Oh man, it's so good. So anyway, I appreciate you guys having me on. I know I'm just your QA guy, and I do message you every morning to let you know I listened and what I thought.
You haven't been doing it as much lately, I will say.
Oh, I did. I was very busy this week, but I did still text you,
You did.
and I said, "Yeah." And we talk. What are you talking about? We talk every week. We talk about the episode.
All right. I'm sorry.
I almost always initiate the conversation. So
Because I don't know when you listen. I mean, I already listened to it.
majority of the time, it's first thing Wednesday morning,
Yeah.
5 a.m. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. So, and that's the truth.
You know what I thought is I had an episode that came out much later in the day, and you didn't say anything about it. But you were in St. George.
Oh yeah, and I was like, "Where the heck's the episode?"
But you're too busy to worry about it.
So I listened to it while I drove home from St. George, which is in Utah, and there's like Red Rocks there and in Walt Disney World. So
Another connection.
another connection, St. George.
wasn't Cars part of Cars in Utah?
Yeah, but there's not much cars in Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
They don't do the Cars theme down there.
Mm-mm.
Did they have Star Wars Land down there?
They do.
Yes.
Is it identical to the?
Yes. It's just flipped. But yeah.
But so the rides are the same.
Yep.
Okay.
But in Walt Disney World, they have a whole hotel dedicated to Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
Guess how much it is for 2 nights?
probably $500 a night.
Close. How much is it a night, Brandon?
Isn't it like 1,400?
It's like $4,000 or $5,000 for 2 nights.
At the Star Wars hotel.
Yes,
And the best part, so when it opened, September of 2021,
I think so.
it's closing at the end of this year.
In September.
Why?
It turns out a lot of people can't spend $5,000 for 2 nights at a hotel.
And not in this economy.
Yeah. True that.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
thanks for having me on, you guys.
thanks for coming on, Matt. We appreciate the
You mean that, Nate?
suggestions.
Anytime?
Anytime.
Let's shake hands right now.
Get this in writing.
Oh, I almost forgot. I have a gift for you guys, but Brandon more specifically. Sorry, Nate.
Brandon, please hold.
Sorry. You cannot keep this bag. This is my prized possession. Go ahead and take a peek in there. Grab that out.
Oh, you got me a book?
What will... Oh, tell the viewers at home.
A Historical Tour of Walt Disney World by Matthew Baxter.
No, it's not by me.
No, just kidding.
So, Andrew Keast? Is that what you say?
We're writing a book, though.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I've got all the numbers. I just got to fill in the words in between, but I've got the pages numbered. So, yeah, Andrew Keast. This is the kind of book that I really enjoy. It's a historical tour of Walt Disney World, and it talks about like the actual history of the world that influenced these attractions, not the history of the ride. So, Country Bear Jamboree, it talks about the history of what inspired jamborees, or Casey's Corner, which is hot dogs, and what that has to do with American history, or Spaceship Earth, which is one of my favorite chapters. So yeah, Storybook Circus, it talks about the circus, history of that, how it got into the Walt Disney World. So
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
that is for you.
I do have one last question that I think we came to consensus on. Did you always think this was a golf ball? The Epcot
I don't know. Well,
logo?
I can see why you would think that.
I always thought it was a golf ball, and I never wanted to go to Walt Disney World because I thought that the big golf ball was just full of golf stuff. and I didn't like golf as a kid. So,
Well,
just,
my siblings went when I was young. My parents couldn't afford to send me. I stayed home. My sister was going for a cheer competition or dance or something. My brother went with. Anyway, and they went to Epcot, which I thought Epcot was that ball.
I do too.
And they talked about eating around the world, and so I thought it was a giant restaurant inside that just had flags on the tables of what country you'd be eating at.
That sounds awesome.
I seriously thought that's what it was. I had no idea that it's a ride.
You thought Epcot.
I thought, well, this is a that's
You go inside that and you're inside it the whole time.
that's Epcot.
Although when I referred to it, I said the Epcot logo, like, this is Epcot to me.
Yeah.
That's Epcot.
But-
And it's a golf place.
Yeah. So, but there's a ride in there.
There's a ride inside.
There's a ride inside of there. It's a really cool ride, and it, like I said, it's my favorite chapter in the book. It goes into great detail about each part of the ride. So, I hope you enjoy that.
It's
And-
a keep or a borrow.
No, that's a keep. That's
Oh,
for you.
Thank you.
That's for having me on.
You can borrow it when I'm done reading it.
You read it in 10 minutes.
I'll give you the gist.
It's better than the Mill Hollow book. I'll tell you that.
You can call me in at night and read chapters when I go to sleep.
Nate, now we're jumping into the Storybook Circus chapter.
I'm sorry, there are no pictures, which usually is half the fun of getting Disney history books, but
That's okay.
no pictures in this one.
But it's not it doesn't look like a cumbersome read. It's not a long one, so. Thanks for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
And this was a place we just talked about. See you next week.